Good morning, everyone. I first want to say thank you to Nancy Cantor, president of Hunter College, for having us here today. It is a privilege to be here as we take the next big step forward into our mayoral transition. And it feels fitting to be standing in the very place where FDR shaped his own presidential transition, and where he and his team devised the foundation of the New Deal, including Social Security. I've said many times that, above all, my politics is one of consistency. When we launched our campaign in October of last year, we made clear that it would be focused on tackling the affordability crisis that devastates far too many working New Yorkers across these 5 boroughs. Those who work from dusk until dawn, and still, it isn't enough. But that consistency extends beyond our policy priorities. Nothing has been more unwavering within this movement than our commitment to excellence. Excellence was the rubric around which we built our campaign team, and it will be the framework through which we approach every governing decision. And excellence is not abstract. It will be reflected in the highest levels of City Hall and the advisors who most shape my decision-making. Today, I am proud to announce my first deputy mayor and my chief of staff, 2 leaders who have deep experience guiding our city and state through challenging moments, possess the fresh, innovative ideas needed to transform our city, and the expertise to help me deliver on the campaign promises that resonated with more than 1 million New Yorkers a little over a week today. First, I want to announce my first deputy mayor, Dean Fuleihan. Except that I know for many, he will require no introduction. I'm grateful to him for returning to public service, and I know he has chosen to do so because he believes in our administration's ability to deliver universal childcare, making the slowest buses in America fast and free, and freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants in this city. Dean has been an incredibly influential leader and manager in New York City government and state government for almost 5 decades. No one is better versed in how city government functions, how it engages productively with leadership in Albany, or has a deeper understanding of how to achieve positive outcomes from even the most challenging of situations. When Dean began his career in New York politics in the late 70s, the Bronx was burning. Over his decades of service in the Assembly, he rose to manage negotiations over the budget process and stewarded our state into a period of financial stability. Few have as much experience leading from City Hall. Having served as Director of Operations for Mayor Giuliani, he later served as Mayor de Blasio's Budget Director from 2014 to 2018. And the role of First Deputy Mayor will not be foreign to him. He served in this position under Mayor de Blasio after leading OMB, and ran the city whenever Mayor de Blasio was not in the city. I will turn to Dean for counsel not only for his wealth of managerial experience, but also because of the similarity between our visions for this city. Dean is a child of Lebanese immigrants, and like me, he has seen our city through the prism of the immigrant experience and knows well that there are many New Yorkers who our leaders never tend to. I've been deeply impressed by how fiercely he shares my belief that this city must be one that works for the many instead of just for the privileged few, and how committed he is to enacting this agenda. We know that the scope of that agenda is a vast one, and so too are the numbers of those who would wish it to fail. I speak not only of those who have benefited from this broken politics, but also those of our president and his federal government, who will not only want to see a failure in the delivery of these agenda items, but also an inability of our administration to live up to that which we ran on. Dean's steadiness, his managerial competence, and his clarity of vision will support me as we take on those who would wish this to be a continuation of politics as it has been, and instead deliver what politics can be in this city that we call home. I also want to announce my incoming Chief of Staff, the unparalleled Biskard Church. Few have played a more central role in this movement, or in every victory we achieved together in the Assembly, than Elle. She became my Assembly Chief of Staff nearly 5 years ago to the day, worked closely with me to win hundreds of millions of dollars in relief for taxi drivers, and served as the campaign manager for our historic primary campaign. Anyone who knows Elle knows her as someone unapologetically committed to the cause of improving the lives of working people. These are not just the political positions that she holds, they are deeply humanistic principles from which she never strays. For all of us who have been fortunate enough to work alongside her, Elle is our moral compass, our brilliant strategic center, and a genuinely kind and selfless person. As my Chief of Staff, Elle will remain intimately involved in every decision we make, from who joins the administration, to how we enact our agenda, to how we ensure that government remains accessible and transparent to every New Yorker. And together, alongside Dean, she will be responsible for ensuring that our commitment to excellence remains inviolable, and that City Hall remains what we have sought to make it, a shining beacon of good governance across the city, across the state, and across this country. I know that many have watched our victory with fascination and excitement. My goal is that the triumph we won last Tuesday to quickly be subsumed under the drumbeat of achievements that we deliver from City Hall. Achievements that make immediate, meaningful differences in the lives of New Yorkers too often forgotten and ignored by those who have held positions such as these. These leaders alongside me are only the first of many that we will announce. I hope their reputations and records of accomplishment are proof of intent to deliver tangible change. This is a moment of opportunity that comes along rarely, and we seize upon it to usher in a new day for New York. Thank you, and I would now like to introduce my Chief of Staff, Biskard Church.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor-elect. My name is Biskard Church, and I am so proud to stand here to accept the role as Chief of Staff for the incoming Mamdani administration. It is an immense honor to serve the people of this city. It has been emphasized that the Mayor-elect and I belong to a new generation. That's true. And as we work to turn the page on a politics devoid of ambition and beholden to special interests, it is incumbent on us to fill this administration with experienced people at all levels who have been on the right side of this fight. I am thrilled to be working closely with First Deputy Mayor Dean Fuleihan. The incoming administration offers bold vision combined with determined realism. We are imaginative in our outlook, energized by the work and to work very hard, and deeply invested in the future of this great city because we will be here a long time. New Yorkers rejected the argument that they shouldn't expect much from their leaders in this election, that they shouldn't expect rigorous ethical standards from City Hall or demand competency, efficiency, and transparency at every level of their government. New Yorkers were asked, lower your hopes, accept slow buses, soaring housing costs, and unaffordable childcare, because that's just how things are. New Yorkers responded decisively to this grim and unimaginative politics. 1 million people said last week that they want more from City Hall, that they expect better from their leaders. They said loudly and clearly, it is not asking too much that New York be a place people can afford to live. The mayor-elect has received a democratic mandate. We take seriously the responsibility of this mandate and all that it will take to run the city well. We will work relentlessly to make good on our campaign promises. During my tenure, I promise that this administration will be open-minded, strategically oriented, and pragmatically focused. We will be open to new ideas because we know the old ones aren't working. Anyone who wants to contribute to our shared project of building a better New York for all its citizens has our ear. It won't make the news every day when a family enrolls in a childcare program or a 311 housing inspection is resolved quickly, or whenever our parks are clean, safe, and full of people. Such things won't make the news because such things won't be remarkable. They will be ordinary, part of the texture of daily life, part of what people have come to expect. Public flourishing is not an easy thing to quantify, but that doesn't make it less real. We succeed when people take pride in living here. We are winning when communities are resourced and resilient, when everyone has enough of their basic needs fulfilled to live happily and freely. I want to thank my family and my community for their unflagging support, and I want to acknowledge the incredible commitment of our volunteers and coalition members who powered this campaign to victory, and who will help us to realize our shared vision for an affordable, flourishing New York City. And now, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome the Mamdani administration's first Deputy Mayor, Dean Fuleihan.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, the mayor-elect. Thank you for the generous comments, but thank you for the privilege of joining the administration and the trust you're placing me to serve our city. I am proud to be returning to City Hall as your first deputy mayor. New Yorkers elected you because they know you will build an administration of energy, ideas, and experience. And thank you for making the announcement in the Roosevelt House and at CUNY. I have been very fortunate, for those who may have lost track, for the last 3 years to be a part of this amazing academic institution as a senior fellow at the CUNY Institute for State and Local Governments. I am very grateful to the leadership at CUNY and the Institute. It's always worth stating that CUNY is a major part of the fabric and the success of our city, one that uniquely reflects the diversity and strengths of our city. I'm so pleased to begin this mission. Partnering with Elle after her role in an amazing campaign, partnering with an accomplished transition team, including several former colleagues who have dedicated so much to improving our city. I have to mention Mel Hartzog, who's both a close friend and colleague, who I had the honor of bringing back into city service. I was exceedingly fortunate to work as first deputy mayor and budget director during the de Blasio administration, working as part of an exceptional team on many successful efforts, including UPK and through the crisis of the pandemic. I was also very fortunate to work for 4 assembly speakers in Albany in a senior capacity, eventually running both the Ways and Means staff and the program staff. directing them through numerous state budgets and serious economic challenges. I am confident that my experience can be useful to the mayor-elect and this team. And I know, there's no way to doubt it, after what we've seen, it will be a dedicated, effective team implementing the serious agenda of addressing affordability in New York. I look forward to being part of a city government that looks like New York City and understands what it means to be a New Yorker. Like so many in our city, and the mayor-elect mentioned it, I come from an immigrant family. My father, an immigrant from Lebanon, my mother, whose parents immigrated from Lebanon, and her first language Arabic. They struggled and succeeded and instilled in my brothers and me a deep sense of public service and a commitment to providing others that same opportunity. The same is true of my wife's parents, who both immigrated from Korea. The mayor-elect has provided that same hope in every message throughout the campaign. I am one of the many that was deeply inspired by that message of hope. I firmly believe in this agenda, and I am proud to join a team that will be devoted to this agenda and will work every day to make it happen. Again, thank you so much for this privilege.
Start with on-topic questions, please. A little bit closer. All right, on-topic questions. Henry, go ahead.
Hi, Mayor-elect. How are you doing?
How's it going, Henry?
So you guys talked a lot about the big sweeping vision as you have through the campaign. But these two top deputies, you know, in practice and pattern and in the past, have been the guys who made the trains run on time, picked up the garbage, kept the city straight and whatnot. What gives you confidence that this team can both implement your big vision, but also make sure they're taking care of the everyday tasks that
Looking at their records gives me immense confidence in their ability to do both the work that has animated the campaign over the course of this more than a year, and also work that illustrates a recognition that has too often been missing in city government, that there is no concern too small to be that of importance to those of us within City Hall. And I think you could even hear it in my Chief of Staff's remarks that the success of our administration will not only be measured in the questions of the hallmark 3 points of our agenda, but also in the questions of whether public goods are functioning effectively across the city, be it a clean park that is fully staffed and actually has people looking to it as a place to find joy and rest, or be it sanitation, where we are not spending an entire budget process debating whether or not we want to remove trash cans from street corners as opposed to increasing trash collection across those same street corners. And I think this is the joy of both the experience that I've had in working with Elle over the course of my entire career in public service in Albany, and also in the conversations that I've had with Dean over many months about the importance of the small things, the big things, frankly, anything that could have an impact on making this a more livable city for New Yorkers.
Yeah, Chris.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor-elect, are either of these appointees expected to have particular portfolios, specific focuses? And then I was wondering too, if you have an update on Jessica Tisch. Have you had a meeting with her yet? Has she said anything, whether she's going to take you up on the offer?
We will continue to put together the framework of what city government will look like. These are two of the first appointments that will also be critical in, is everyone all right? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yes, I can start again. These are the first appointments of my incoming mayoral administration, and they will be critical in helping to inform the approach of our administration as a whole, as well as the question of appointments further. And in that will come the answer to the ways in which we will divide up the responsibilities. I think the most important thing, however, is that these will be two key partners in delivering on the work that we have been looking to do for far too long. And I continue to retain my interest in keeping Commissioner Jessica Tisch, and I'll be sure to inform you when I have any updates.
Yeah.
For First Deputy Mayor Fuleihan, if I can try that yet.
You can.
Two upcoming milestones are, the January plan budget release as well as Albany session resuming. You have expertise in both. Can you talk a little about how you're already thinking about both of those?
Look, we know there are challenges here, and that's what this is all about, but it's a great opportunity to work with the leadership in the state, certainly with the governor, with both houses. I do have experience there. I've been told many times in the past things could not happen, and directly, and that's not what we're being told. We're being told, let's have a conversation, and that's what we're going to do. And again, I said it at the end, this is an agenda that's achievable. We have to work on how to make sure that we come to those agreements. So I think it's quite doable. The budget's part of this, right? I mean, the state budget will be coming out, the city budget's February 1st now, and we're going to put together a team and go through and work between now and then to make sure that we have a budget that's reflective of the agenda, the day-to-day operation commitments, and we believe we can do that.
I could, just before we go to the next question, just want to add one thing. When Dean and I had our first conversation, it was at Kahowa House on 31st Street in Astoria. And one of the things that he shared with me then that stayed with me throughout the rest of the primary campaign and the general was the importance of changing, specific to OMB, but also larger within city government, a culture of no into a culture of how. And how now is the time to deliver. And when I think about one of the moments that I'm most proud of in especially the work that Elle and I have done together, I need not look that much further than the win that we secured in late 2021, where we erased close to $500 million in debt from the backs of thousands of working class taxi drivers. Now that was work that Elle and I had done on the outside, by and large. We were organizing, we were putting together 45 days of consecutive rallies and press conferences and having meetings with other elected officials, bringing them into this struggle. And part of the reason why we were able to accomplish this deal and free many drivers from a life of debt peonage was because we had Dean Fuleihan on the inside, who was a critical part of actually bringing that agreement to its final step. And that, to me, is an example of what the three of us, alongside a number of incredible additional public servants that we will be announcing over the course of this transition, will be able to accomplish for New Yorkers.
Yeah, David.
Relatedly, can you talk a little bit about the process of this hire? I mean, when did you start meeting? Did you interview other people? What impressed you? Stuff like that.
Absolutely. This was an exhaustive process. My first conversation with Dean was late winter of the primary, where we met over Adani Chai, and that was a first of many conversations that we had. And they were conversations that spoke about a vision for what governance could look like. It also focused on specific sets of particulars, thinking about the journey that universal pre-K took in a similar manner, where it was spoken about as if it could not be accomplished and what actually took it over the line. But additionally, the importance of something along the lines of property tax reform and the ways in which it will require a fluency in both city government and state government. These were conversations that stayed with me and also stayed with our team as Dean continued to offer insights and reflections on the way in which we could take that which we had spoken about into that which we actually delivered. And this was a process where I spoke with many incredible public servants about the prospect of them becoming a first deputy mayor, and we eventually settled on the first deputy mayor that is standing next to me, and in no small part because of the incredible record that he has in public service and the fact that he has both been able to accomplish that which many have deemed to be impossible while serving for decades in this kind of work without losing sight of the possibility of continuing to imagine a different kind of politics.
Katie.
Hi. I know there's lots of questions about specifically the police commissioner and other people, but will there be a total overhaul of commissioners? I know we're going to need a new fire commissioner, DOT commissioner, the schools chancellor, but then there's things like DEP, all these other important agencies. Could you walk us through a little bit of that process, not to scare anyone who currently has a job in this administration, but how much of an overhaul do you anticipate in the first few months?
Individuals on the basis of the work they have done, not hold it against them who appointed them to that work. So if there are those who have done their job particularly well within an Adams administration, they will be considered all the same. And over the course of these next 50 or so days, we will start to make those announcements. And I'm also proud of the fact that in the portal that we opened up for individuals to apply to work as part of our City Hall, we have already seen tens of thousands of applicants come through.
From people currently, I mean, how does that work? Are they gonna have to reapply? Is it like a school that goes under, will they have to reapply for jobs they already have? How does that work?
We will continue to make those determinations over the next 50 days.
Sam?
Mayor-elect Mamdani, Sam Malkoff with Democracy Now! I have two questions.
Yes.
One, New York State politics are often done by 3 men in a room in Albany, but you've talked about a politics that is not done to New Yorkers, but that New Yorkers do. What are you asking regular New Yorkers do? What role do you envision for them? And they pushing for an affordability agenda. And then my second question really quickly is, you're getting a lot of praise and offers of support from former detractors, including Bill Ackman, but venture capitalist Bradley Tusk both complimented your vision, but also warned others in the business community, quote, in an interview on British radio, if we don't do anything, it seems to me you could have a world with Elon and 25 other trillionaires and 19% unemployment. And to me, that just means the French Revolution is coming, end quote. So my question is, what are you asking for from the business community to advance the affordability agenda?
My message to the more than 100,000 volunteers who brought us to this point is that the work continues. This was not work that had an end date of an election. This is in fact work that will continue until we deliver on the agenda that inspired so many New Yorkers, many of whom had never voted for prior in their life. And that will mean understanding themselves as political actors, understanding themselves as New Yorkers who need to continue to organize, and it will be an honor to continue to be a part of that movement as we show that politics can be more than what we have been told for far too long. And my message to the business community is that I'm looking forward to working together to make this a city that's affordable for each and every person that calls it home. And that work is one that will continue in the manner that it has thus far, where I'm willing to speak to anyone and everyone so long as they share that commitment to the vitality of our city, and also understanding that there will be disagreements, namely on fiscal policy, and yet that still leaves the opportunity to find places of agreement to continue to build the city that we know that we deserve.
Yeah, hold on.
This is a question for Dean. You had months of conversations with the mayor-elect. I guess I was wondering when, in your mind, you decided this was the right role to take, and what some of the factors going to that decision were.
Well, I'm sorry to repeat myself. From the very beginning, before the first meeting, but certainly from that first meeting, the agenda, the aggressiveness of it, the warmth of it, the hope of it, all those things that we heard throughout the campaign were something that I was going to help in any way I could. And I think that was from the very first meeting. And then we continued those conversations from there. But the commitment to this, to what could be this administration and now is this administration, that was always there really from the beginning.
Dan?
Whenever there's a question about the differences between your agenda and your negotiating partners in Albany in the future, you talk about negotiations and talking, and I want to know, are you willing to play hardball and use the power afforded to the mayor if those negotiations stall, holding up an MTA capital plan if you don't get your free buses, firing members of the Rent Guidelines Board if they don't freeze the rent? Are you willing to go there?
I am confident that what we will find in Albany is a politics of partnership that we have not seen for quite some time. And so I think much of this will remain hypothetical, in that what we have found in the conversations we've been having is that affordability is in fact a thread that unites many across the party and the necessity of delivering on it. And I also am looking forward to being a mayor who means exactly what it is that they say. And I've said time and time again that the points we raised on October 23rd about freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants, delivering universal childcare, making the slowest buses in the country fast and free. These are not just slogans. These are commitments, and I look forward to delivering on them.
Yeah, we'll go Laura. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Dean, we all are so familiar with your experience, but I think one specific thing that you have dealt with is a Trump administration. And I wonder if this iteration of it has been central to the conversations you have had, and how are you seeing that challenge today compared to the last time we dealt with it during the de Blasio administration?
So it's obviously very, I don't need to tell you this, it's obviously very different, and it's going to be a different approach, and we're working right now and having conversations on how you address that, but with the state, with the governor, with other allies, with the community. This has to be, and I think the mayor-elect has said this repeatedly, this has to be a challenge that we address with all New Yorkers working together, and that is going to be different from what happened in the first term of the Trump. So.
On economic development and job creation, the Roosevelt Island Cornell Tech Campus generates billions of dollars in economic activity and job creation. There were reports in the past that you supported a boycott of Cornell Tech. I was just wondering if you could comment what your views are on the Cornell Tech, and do you in fact support a boycott, or can you just address that question, please?
Thank you for the question. What I've said time and again is wherever the Adams administration and previous administrations have taken us out of compliance with international law, we'll return this city back into that compliance. And I think that New Yorkers, by and large, are looking forward to that politics of consistency. That's what we'll deliver on.
Do you think Cornell Tech is not in compliance with that because of their relationship with the Technion of Israel?
I don't think that this applies to what the Adams administration has done.
Yeah, Annie.
Thank you. We've seen different mayors appoint different kinds of DM in their time. Are you thinking all about whether we're going to have a DM communications, a CTO again, a new kind of DM that is specifically targeted to your agenda?
We are in conversations around the question of the manner in which our city hall will take hold, and I look forward to having those conversations with my chief of staff, with my first deputy mayor. And I think there's an importance of asking ourselves the question of what gets us closer to delivering on this work, because too often we have not seen that be the animating idea that leads to the creation of additional positions.
You've had a lot of folks you've appointed so far who have experience in the de Blasio administration. Now your chief of staff comes from outside. I know she ran your campaign and was involved in the DSA. Do you see this as kind of being the balance that you want to strike of having kind of these older hands and then these newer people come out?
You gonna say that is?
Sorry.
You forget. I'm sorry, dude. I think that it is important when we are undertaking the work of transforming politics in our city, that we do so both with a relentless imagination as to what politics could be and a fluency of what politics has been. And what I so appreciate about both of those standing next to me is that they have displayed those two skills in spades over the course of the work that I have done with them and the course of the work that I have observed. And I think that this will continue to be a critical part of how we put our city government together. It will be one that New Yorkers can look to with confidence on taking on tasks big and tasks small, and knowing that there will be an unrelenting drive to finally ensuring that when New Yorkers look at City Hall, they see a place that is actually following through on the commitments that excited so many across the city.
Two quick questions. One, during the election, your opponent, Andrew Cuomo, said you were going to be de Blasio's mini-me. Is this de Blasio 2.0, starting with appointing Dean as first deputy? Do you address that? And do you want the second question now or after?
You're so considerate. Look at you. I'll take the second question after I answer this one. The truth is I am 5'11", and it's true that I am shorter than one of the previous mayors. I am going to create a new city hall. It is a city hall that will look to experts in the work of government, experts such as our soon-to-be first deputy mayor. But it is not a city hall that looks to any previous administration as a model that we will take on word for word, step for step. We are making our own. And we are lucky in that there are many who have come before us who have shown us both the ways in which we can succeed and the pitfalls that await those who look to do so. And I'm excited to build on that.
The second question is a political one. The Post reported yesterday, others have reported that GOSA is looking at primarying Hakeem Jeffries and that you have tried to dissuade him from doing this. Do you have an opinion on him running? Do you think he'll get involved in primaries in next year's election?
My plan, less than 1 week since our election, is to get firmly involved in our transition. We have about 50 days left in ensuring that January 1st is not a time of preparation, but rather is a time of leadership on the work we've been speaking about. That will continue to be my focus because I think New Yorkers deserve a city hall that reflects the excitement, the concerns, and the inspiration that they have had over this last year.
Councilman should run.
I keep my opinions just to the work of the transition.
Yeah, Jeff.
Well, you're not going to take national questions, but I'm going to try. So,
Take a swing.
do you view yourself after this big win in New York City as a figure, a national Democratic Party leader, and do you intend to use that power in the next year going forward with the 2026? And then,
Keep it going.
we've seen California Governor Gavin Newsom with this redistricting amendment, with his dark woke stuff on Twitter. Do you look up to him as a leader? Is that somebody you want to emulate? And is he a National Democratic Party leader?
I view myself as the mayor-elect of New York City. And I try to keep my horizons akin to the New Yorker cover where the world ends at New Jersey. And I appreciate what Governor Newsom's approach has been with redistricting, because I think it's critically important that we understand that the time where Republicans have a limitless sense of imagination to enact their political agenda and Democrats seem to be constructing an ever-lowering ceiling of possibility must come to an end. And I think that is an important thing that we have to see across the country.
Have you heard from Newsom, by the way? Have you connected?
I did hear from Governor Newsom, and I appreciated his words.
Go ahead, Jacob.
A twofold question.
Jacob, how are you? Good to see you.
There's been mixed reaction, to downplay that, to your election, including over the weekend in some synagogues across the city. I'm wondering what you're willing to say or intend to take any steps in your outreach, even if it's those who are willing to engage. And the second question is, what do you make of the support that you did get from the Jewish community?
I'm so proud of the support that we received from the Jewish community. It was support that animated every single part of the campaign that we ran. And I think of an older woman who met me passing me a sticker of a bagel that said, "Down with the smear campaign, up with the schmear campaign." And I'm also committed to being a mayor for every single Jewish New Yorker, just like I'll be a mayor for every single person that calls the city home. That includes those that have concerns, those that didn't vote for me, those that didn't vote at all. And I'll be looking to be their mayor because they call this city home, and they deserve a mayor who not only looks to protect them, but to celebrate and cherish them. And that will be the way in which I continue to do the work of reaching out to New Yorkers. And I also know that for many, politics has often exclusively been that of rhetoric, as opposed to that of work and that of action. And I know that there are some who are waiting to see what is the work that we will truly do. And I look forward with those on this stage to show that the commitments that we have made when we speak about rooting out the scourge of anti-Semitism from across the 5 boroughs, from ensuring that no longer will a rabbi have to know the mayor-elect in order to receive additional police protection on the high holy days, ensuring that Jewish New Yorkers will come to expect not only safety, but a sense of belonging in the city they call home. The work of that will begin on January 1st, and I look forward to it.
All right, we've got time for one more. Go ahead, Morgan.
Hi. So Kathy Hochul in Puerto Rico said that she was not interested in the free bus plan. She said she doesn't see a world where that would happen. But she would be willing to maybe expand the program to allow for more low-income people to ride a bus for free. What's your take on this? Is this something you'd be willing to compromise on? Is this something that you're saying maybe we can do this incrementally as we go along?
I continue to be excited at the work of making the slowest buses in America fast and free. And I appreciate the governor's continued partnership in delivering on that agenda of affordability. And this is the work that will animate so much of what the three of us and what our city hall will do, is to ensure that we are living up to those promises and transforming politics as we know it.
So is it free buses, that's it, or something for now, let's expand it, then free buses maybe 3 years down the road?
I'm just as excited as I was about free buses today as I was more than a year ago. Thank you, Morgan.
so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.